Hello, everybody. So, I had a topic that was recommended to me about the effects and what happens in the U.S. during K through 12, so kindergarten to senior year of high school. And from early on in our lives and like crucial points of our development, there were studies that show like the ages like 4 to 6 or 4 to 7, in that range, the things you learn are like crucial to your development. What I'm trying to say is you don't get to pick what you learn at that age as much as you can when you're older. And the thing is, when you're in school at these ages and you're told you got to raise your hand to go to the bathroom, you got to do this, you got to do that, you can only go a certain time, you have to do this, get this in on time, like stressing out these kids at a very young age, giving them deadlines, making them have to, raise their hand to go to the bathroom or like talk to a random adult. It's like supervising them and all this stuff. And it continues throughout school. And me, I'm not going to say I was a troublemaker when I was younger, but I'm glad that I wasn't extremely worried about following the rules when I was in those early grades, because I see the people that have and that had straight A's and good grades all throughout those years, and they don't think for themselves. They constantly need to be told what to do, and they're like, can I do this, can I do that? Like, I swear they have to be told to breathe sometimes. And that's the kids that the school system is making, and the government and everybody who's organizing this system. Like I've said in a previous video, it was made for factory workers and the system's outdated. But also, they don't want free thinkers. They say they'll provide you with creative outlets or like taking art, culinary, all this stuff. But you don't get graded on, your like passion or how good you're, not how good, just how creative and like just doing art. They set a strict like criteria. And if you don't meet that, then I've heard some stories of teachers literally crossing out and like defacing people's art just because they say it wasn't good or like it didn't meet the criteria, I guess. And back to the main point is, the government people, like, they want us to be obedient and take orders. They want factory workers, 9 to 5 workers, just people who just turn their brain off and just follow orders and do what they're told. Because if everybody was independent, then they couldn't control us. And I mean, you know, um, like, it'd be a problem for them. So they want us to stay like this. That's why they're not going to help. And the thing with programs like No Kid Left Behind, and stuff that promotes, I forgot the name of it, but it has like an apple. But anyway, there's school like systems and rules that have been implemented to so-called help these kids learn and like get through school, because a bunch of kids are failing, um, which I bet is due in part to like phones and all that stuff. But also, schools is bad. So from elementary school and even middle school, I really liked middle school, and I was like, oh, this will be good. Once I got to high school, it's unbearable. Honestly, it's unbearable. And like I've said before, um, I have all A's. Like, it's not like I'm a slacker and I'm just saying like I want to be lazy and I hate the system because it makes me do work. No, school has aspects that are beneficial, and they should hone in on those abilities and the abilities of the children, instead of making you mindless puppets that just follow instructions. But the thing with No Kids Left Behind and all these programs that try to promote or say they're supposed to help these students, graduate, they actually make school worse, because different kids have different needs for learning. I know there's that meme. It's like, some kids can't learn from a freaking packet, yo, which is like, yes, it's stupid, but it's true. Like, not some kids need hands-on learning, and they learn more by, by doing it or by seeing it or all these different stuff. Like, everybody's different in the way that they learn, And also they develop at different ages, and schools are like, oh, you need to do this by a certain grade, or like they always threaten to fail you. And some teachers are like, oh, this isn't going to slide in, and blah 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 isn't going to slide in. And they always say that it just keeps getting moved up. This isn't going to slide in the real world, this isn't going to slide in college, this isn't going to slide in high school. And guess what, it does. Because like, it's just a fear factor. They want to scare you into being more obedient. And they always say like, oh, a way they do that is they say, oh, if you don't go to college, if you don't finish high school, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you're gonna be a failure, you're gonna be homeless, you're gonna be living on the streets, you're gonna be a nobody. And in saying this, they scare you back into the system and you following their orders. But even now, with me being conscious of the system, and me knowing that there's bad aspects and good aspects, and me trying to only focus on the good aspects and learn how to manage my time and all this stuff through school, it's very hard, even with me being aware of the system, to like fight up against it. It's still like I said, because from a young age, it's like so ingrained in your memory. It's like hard for me, even me being aware of it, it's hard for me to fight back against like the thought of like, oh, I need permission to do this, I need permission to do that. And another thing is the social aspect of school. All the kids are like, oh, you need to, well, they don't say it, but oh, you need to like wear this new designer thing that's like way overpriced, or you're a loser, or like you need to fit into this, you need to fit in that. Like, people always try to control you. And even people around you your age, they make fun of you and stuff. But I've tried to break free of that mold and just like be who I am, basically. And like, oh, screw all their, like, screw what they think about me, like I'm gonna do my own thing, right? And while I've made progress, it's still hard, especially like when I go on a break from school and I'm not in school. I get better, right? As soon as I go back to school, just being there makes people more self-conscious and want to fit in. It's literally the environment. It's like you're all facing one teacher, like being lectured at. The students around you, like, they're so judgmental. Like, teenagers and kids are so judgmental. And I try to, and something maybe you could practice is like, think like this isn't all life is, like you can go your own path. There's other people that have made careers out of things that had nothing to do with school, dropped out, and I'm not saying drop out of high school, I'm saying like I think you should at least finish high school. But the fact that you're always told you need to go to college and all this stuff, and you're going to be paying debt off for the rest of your life, like, it's not worth it unless you have a career like a doctor or a lawyer that you want to be. So don't only listen to what people say. You got to think for yourself, weigh the pros and the cons of your decisions, and see what is beneficial for you, because everybody's different. They know their limits, they know how they learn, how fast they learn, and like what they want to be in life. And sometimes you don't always know. And schools in particular, they push on the fact to 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds that you need to know what you want to do with the rest of your life. You got to start looking for colleges, you got to pick a career. And they make you lock in on it so much that you feel like you can't leave it. Like, you have to stick to that even if you don't like it. And that's why, like, the working class and people like millennials and upper Gen Z, like older Gen Z, they're like depressed. That's why teenagers and younger generations are like have a higher percentage of being depressed and having anxiety, because these systems are outdated and they're not helping us, they're hurting us. They say they're helping us, but they're just hurting us with just like trying to control us, not having a creative outlet, pushing deadlines, saying, oh, you're not good enough if you don't get good grades. It's like all these factors, kids around you, parents, family, and the school system, even the government and all that stuff. it's like every single force is like against you, it seems. And I mean, hey, why am I telling you this? Like, you're like, what am I saying? I want to bring it to people's attention, and because, you know, knowing is a first step, realizing is a first step. And a few things I can say that have helped me is try to do stuff outside of school. You know, it's not your whole life. I think like, oh, like, yes, I should respect my teachers, but they don't have the say in my life. You know, like, I'm my own person. And when it gets down to it, these teachers are kind of just random people. Like, they're normal people like you and me. Everybody's just like you and me, you know? They were born, they were raised by, they grew up, and, you know, not everybody, like, when I was little, and I know a lot of people, they've, like, idolized adults when they were little, and now you realize, like, me, an adult, we're not that different. They don't know what they're doing in their life. They might have like a routine. They're older, have more money, you know. But there's not that much stuff that that separates us. And like nobody really knows what they want to do and what they're doing. Like, I see a bunch of teachers, and they're like humans too, dude. They worry about the same things. Everybody worries about the same things, deadlines, all this. They went through the system, and they're stuck in it. And some teachers get into the career for good reason, like they want to help kids, and they realize the system is bad, so they want to help them. But in most cases, that the teachers, their mind starts to shift as they're in that job, because the system is like so restrictive, and like their mindset like shifts. Even though they come in there for a good cause, they get reprimanded and they get in trouble for doing certain things and trying different not programs, trying different things out and hands-on experiments and all this stuff. And so they have to, the teachers that wanted to be teachers so they can help kids, have to eventually go with the system or be fired. And most of them don't want to be fired because they had to go to school for like 12 extra years, and you know, they were in school for like 20 years just to become a teacher. They're not going to throw it all away, and they're already paying debt and all this stuff. They're not going to throw it all away. So they eventually conform with the system. So everybody's conforming with the system. Even if they start out like, you know, wanting to change, it's so hard to get better when you're still in that toxic environment. So what you could do is just try to focus on the good things, like learn, you know, time management skills, all this stuff, but don't over fixate on it. Your grades don't define you. These teachers don't, like, they're not the say all, be all, or whatever the statement is. You know, you make your own decisions, and while people can say that like you have to do this, they were also told the same thing. And I mean, look, if everybody's told, oh, you got to go to college, you'll be successful. I mean, obviously not everybody's successful, even the people that go to college. So like now more than ever, is so many people have, like, they graduated from college and yet they can't get a job anywhere because, I mean, I don't know. So, you know, just try to focus on the good things, and, you know, becoming aware is the first step. But I'm going to end the video there. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye.